Imagine this. You walk into a room full of people. You don't say a single word. You don't do anything out of the ordinary. But somehow, everyone notices you. Some looks are of respect, others of curiosity, even fear. It's not arrogance. It's not overbearing. It's something more subtle, more powerful. It's presence. It's control. It's dominance. Now tell me, how many times have you seen someone who doesn't need to shout, threaten, or brag for others to respect them? People who seem to command without asking, impose without effort, and leave a mark just with their way of being. Do you think this is luck? Something you are born with? No, it's an art. And today, I will teach you to master it. You see, the mistake many make is to think that power is demonstrated with aggression, that respect is demanded with words, that control is imposed with force. But the real leaders, those who truly command in life, don't waste time with such nonsense. They don't seek validation, they don't react to provocations, and they never spend their energy trying to convince others that they are powerful. They simply are. The question is, how is this achieved? Here I won't talk to you about motivational nonsense, nor about cheap tricks to appear to be someone you are not. I'm going to give you 7 lessons based on Stoic philosophy and psychological strategies used by the most influential men in history. These are rules that, if you apply them, will turn you into someone that others respect without you having to ask for it. But I warn you, this is not for everyone. Not everyone has the mettle to master their emotions, move strategically, and manage perception in their favor. If you want the world to treat you differently, if you want to project power without raising your voice and make your mere presence speak for you, then listen carefully to what follows. Because once you understand these 7 rules, you will never move through life as before. 1. Be the master of your emotions, not their slave. Look around you. Most people are emotional time bombs. All it takes is a bad look, a misplaced word, or a small setback for them to explode in anger, frustration, or despair. They are slaves to their emotions. They react without thinking, without control, like puppets whose strings are in the hands of anyone who knows how to pull them. If someone can make you angry with a simple provocation, they control you. If an unexpected situation can throw you off balance, you are vulnerable, and someone who has no control over themselves will never have control over anything. The Stoics understood this more than 2,000 years ago. Epictetus said that what disturbs us are not the events themselves, but our interpretation of them. You can't control the outside world, but you can control how you respond to it. And that's where the real power lies. Imagine it this way. You're in a discussion with someone who tries to provoke you. They raise their voice, use insults, look for any crack in your character to make you react. They want to see you lose control, but you don't give them the satisfaction. You keep calm, speak slowly, look without hesitation. Not because you're indifferent to what's happening, but because you know that the first person to lose control is the first person to lose the battle. That's the key. The one who maintains control is the one who has the power. Think of the most respected leaders, the most influential figures in history. They weren't the ones who shouted the loudest, nor the ones who reacted to every attack like a cornered animal. They were the ones who remained unflappable in the storm, the ones who never allowed others to steal their calm. Many people confuse power with aggression. They think that reacting forcefully to every offense is a demonstration of dominance. But what really inspires respect is not the ability to attack, but the ability to resist. Who do you think projects more authority? The man who allows himself to be provoked and explodes in shouts and threats, or the one who maintains his composure, cold and impenetrable, without letting anyone control his mental state. Self-control is the difference between a man who commands and one who simply reacts. When people see that they can't knock you off your center, that they can't manipulate you with words or emotions, they start to see you differently. Your presence becomes stronger, more imposing, because you don't depend on approval or provocation to act. You decide how to respond. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, ruled Rome in times of crisis, betrayals, plagues, wars, but he was never seen acting out of desperation or fear. He understood that his greatest enemy was not the external chaos, but the battle within his own mind. He once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This does not mean that you should be a rock without emotions. It means that you should master your emotions instead of being dominated by them. Feel the anger if necessary, but don't let it decide for you. Feel the frustration, but never let it control your words. Use each emotion as a tool, never as a master. Here's a simple principle to remember. Every time someone manages to make you react uncontrollably, they have defeated you. No matter how smart you are, how strong, or how many skills you have, if you can't control yourself, there will always be someone else in control of you. The Stoics didn't seek to be cold or insensitive. They sought something harder, to be imperturbable. No matter what's going on outside, the inner fire doesn't go out. You can apply this in your life right now. Don't react immediately. Don't let others decide how you'll feel. Before you act, ask yourself, am I making this decision, or is someone else making it for me? Respect is not demanded. Respect is earned. And it all starts with self-mastery. When others see that they can't manipulate you, that they can't make you lose control, they start to see you differently. You're no longer just one of the crowd. You're no longer a slave to your temperament. You're someone who commands. If you really want to project power, the first step is simple. Master your emotions. Don't be a slave. Don't let others handle your mental state as if it were a toy. Take control of yourself. And when you do, you'll see how the world starts to treat you differently. 2. Enter a room as if you were already the leader. Think about this. You're in a place full of people. Nobody knows you, nobody knows who you are. But as soon as you cross the door, the glances shift towards you. Not because you're the tallest, the strongest, or the loudest. You haven't said a single word, but somehow, people feel your presence. This is no coincidence. This is what happens when you learn to project authority effortlessly, when you enter any place as if you were already the leader. The mistake many make is that they think authority is begged for, that respect is asked for. No, authority is projected. Respect is imposed with your mere presence. And this is where most fail. They enter a place with the energy of someone seeking approval, with doubts, with nervousness, with their heads down, waiting for someone else to give them permission to feel important. But if you don't believe yourself to be the leader, no one else will. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. You don't need a title to be a leader. You don't need someone to give you permission to occupy a space confidently. All you need is the right mindset and the appropriate presence. When you enter any place, do it with the control of someone who already belongs there. Not someone who is trying to fit in, but someone who is already part of the environment. Leadership is not about imposing with force or empty words. It's about how you behave, how you move, and how you make others feel. Think of someone like Julius Caesar. When he entered a meeting of the Roman Senate, he didn't have to announce himself. He didn't need to shout or make a spectacle. His mere presence, his way of walking, his posture, his gaze, everything made it clear that he was in control. And how do you achieve this in your own life? Start with your body language. Your posture speaks before you do. People notice when someone enters a place with confidence and when someone does it with fear. If you walk with your head down, your shoulders hunched, and your eyes avoiding glances, you've lost before you've started. Now, if you enter with your back straight, with firm steps, with a serene but confident gaze, everything changes. People perceive that energy before you open your mouth. And that perception is what makes the difference. The key here is that you should not enter asking for permission, but with the certainty that you deserve to be there. Not as an intruder, not as someone waiting for approval, but as someone who already has their place secured. And this does not mean being arrogant. It doesn't mean trying to impose yourself aggressively. It means being so sure of yourself that others feel that certainty without you having to demonstrate it. Think about this. In a group of people, who is the leader? It's not always the one who speaks the loudest. Sometimes it's the one who speaks less. But when they do, everyone listens. It's the one who moves calmly, the one who seems to already know what they're doing, even if they haven't said a single word. When you enter a place, act as if you were already the leader of the situation, not with words, not with exaggerations, but with control. Move your body decisively. Maintain a calm expression. Don't feel rushed to move or to speak. Let others feel your presence before you explain it. The Stoics knew that perception is everything. If you seem unsure, people will treat you as if you are. If you seem confident, people will assume there's a reason for it. So the next time you enter a place, remember this: how you feel internally is projected externally. If you feel like someone powerful, others will perceive it. If you doubt yourself, others will too. Don't wait for the world to recognize you. Move as if you were already the leader, and the world will treat you as such. 3. Let the world see deeds, not promises. Everyone promises. Everyone says they're going to do great things, that they're going to change, that they're going to improve, that they're going to succeed. But the reality is that the world is tired of empty words. No one respects someone who talks a lot and does little, because words without action are worth nothing. Look at those who have really built something in life. They don't go around proclaiming everything they're going to do. They just do it. While others waste time explaining their plans, they are busy executing them. And when the results speak for themselves, they no longer need to say anything. A man who has real power does not wear himself out with explanations. He doesn't try to convince anyone with words, because he knows that the only thing that convinces in this life are deeds. The problem with talking too much about what you will do is that you wear yourself out before you start. When you announce something to everyone, you generate expectations, and the moment you don't deliver, your credibility plummets. No one respects someone who doesn't keep their word. And the worst thing is that every time you talk too much about what you're going to do without taking action, you deceive your own mind. You start to feel like you've achieved something just because you said it out loud. And so you remain in mediocrity, trapped in an illusion where words give you a false sense of progress. Also, giving too much information to people is a mistake, because as soon as they know what you plan, many will try to stop you. They will try to sow doubts, make sarcastic comments, tell you it's impossible. If you give them too many details, you give them power over you. People who have achieved nothing in life always try to drag others down to their level. They don't want to see you move forward because it reminds them of how stuck they are. Don't give them that pleasure. Don't give them the power to comment on what you haven't built yet. The Stoics understood that the best way to move in life is with discretion. Seneca said that life is like a play. It doesn't matter how long it lasts, but how well it is acted. In other words, what matters is not talking about what you're going to do, but executing with precision. While others talk, you move forward in silence. While others seek validation, you focus on what really matters: action. Think of it like a war. Generals don't announce their strategies to the enemy before attacking. They don't send letters saying, "Tomorrow at 5 in the morning, we will invade you from the right flank." No, they plan in secret, move their troops intelligently, and when they finally strike, it's too late for the enemy to react. That's how you should move in life. You don't need anyone to know what you're doing until the results are impossible to ignore. The problem is that we live in an era where people want instant validation. As soon as they have an idea, they run to post it, to shout it to the world, to receive applause before they've done anything. But that's weakness. That's insecurity. Someone who is really building something doesn't waste time seeking approval. They know that their only validation comes from what they achieve, not from what they say they're going to achieve. Let others talk. Let them spend their energy on promises and empty speeches. While they waste time, you work in silence. You build, you improve, you move forward. And when you finally get where you want to be, when the results are impossible to ignore, then the world will have no choice but to acknowledge what you've done. This doesn't mean you can't share your achievements, but there's a difference between sharing and boasting. A man who really has power doesn't need to prove it with words. He proves it with his work, with his discipline, with his presence. When someone has real success, they don't need to shout it. Success is silent. The results are the only proof that really matters. So don't waste time explaining to the world what you're going to do. Don't seek recognition before you've built something that truly deserves it. Don't try to convince anyone of what you're capable of. Just do it. Because in the end, in this life, words are carried away by the wind. The only thing that really counts, the only thing that no one can question, are the deeds. 4. Move in the shadows. Strike in the light. Imagine you're in a boxing match. Before the bell rings, your opponent starts talking. He shouts that he's going to destroy you, that he's going to knock you out in the first round, that you shouldn't even be in the ring with him. His fans cheer. He looks confident. Everyone expects to see him win. But you say nothing. You just watch, listen, and wait. The bell rings. He comes out aggressive, exaggerated, looking to impress. He wants to prove that he's in control, that he's the center of attention. But you don't fight like him. You don't waste energy on rushed punches. You don't get into his rhythm. You don't play his game. You move calmly, observe, study. While he keeps shouting and throwing aimless punches, you keep waiting. And when you finally see the opportunity, a single, well-placed punch changes the whole fight. Such is life. Those who talk the most, those who seek to draw attention, those who try to force their presence prematurely, are the first to wear out. On the other hand, those who prepare in silence, those who hone their skills without announcing it, those who wait for the exact moment to move, are the ones who truly dominate. Power is not in the amount of noise you make, but in the precision with which you act. The problem with most people is that they don't have patience for this. They need the world to know what they're doing at all times. As soon as they have an idea, they rush to share it. As soon as they make a little progress, they post it. As soon as they think about achieving something, they're already waiting for validation. But premature validation kills progress. Every time you talk too much about what you're going to do, you relieve pressure, deceive your mind, and become less disciplined. The Stoics understood this perfectly. They knew that greatness is built in the shadow, in the effort that no one sees, in the discipline that needs no applause. Seneca said that it doesn't matter what you say you're going to do, only what you actually do matters. And the real impact only happens when no one saw it coming. Think about someone who wants to improve their physique. Most announce their new lifestyle before taking the first step. They say they will now train. They will change their diet. They will be disciplined. But in a short time, they get stuck because they already received the validation they were looking for. On the other hand, the person who is truly committed says nothing. They just show up months later with a physique that no one expected. No one saw their process, but now their result is impossible to ignore. If you want to be respected, don't wear yourself out seeking approval at every stage of the journey. Don't explain every one of your moves. Don't share too much too soon. People don't need to know what you're doing. They just need to see the result when it's ready. Because the truth is this: what is built in silence is the only thing that truly lasts. In any area of life, this is an advantage. In business, the most successful don't announce their plans before executing them. In relationships, the one who has control is the one who doesn't reveal their intentions too soon. In any competition, the one who surprises is the one who prepared in silence and shows up with something that no one expected. Those who truly dominate the game are not those who seek to be seen from the first day. They are those who work while others talk, those who wait while others rush, those who strike when the moment is perfect. Respect is not demanded, it is imposed. And it is imposed with impact, not with speeches. So start moving differently. Sharpen your mind, train your skills, work on your progress without expecting immediate recognition. And when the time comes to act, do so in a way that no one can ignore. Don't seek attention prematurely. Don't let ego make you talk before you're ready. Don't try to prove anything with words. Move in the shadows, strike in the light, and watch how the world treats you differently. 5. Don't seek to fit in. Be the standard. The mistake is in thinking that to gain respect, one must conform to what others expect, to adapt, to follow trends, to fit into a mold designed by others. But respect has never been for those who seek to be accepted. Respect is for those who create their own standard and force others to recognize it. From a young age, we are taught to follow the already marked path, to do what others do, to be part of the group. Obedience, conformity, the ability to not make too much noise are rewarded. But look at who really dominates in this world. They are not the ones who followed the rules to the letter. They are not the ones who sought to fit in. They are the ones who made their own way, who stopped worrying about what others thought and became the reference. The problem is that many spend their lives trying to adjust to what the environment dictates. They dress in a certain way because it's the way it should be. They talk about certain things because it's acceptable. They change their way of being just to not disturb anyone. And in that process, they lose their essence, their presence, their impact. They dilute among the crowd until they become invisible. Real respect comes when you dare to be different without asking for permission. When you become someone who does not follow trends but sets their own pace. It doesn't mean being a rebel without a cause or acting with arrogance. It means that the world doesn't dictate how you move, but you decide who you are and how you will present yourself. Those who truly project power and control are not those who seek to fit in, but those who create such a strong identity that others must adjust to their presence. They do not seek external validation because they have already validated who they are inside. They do not need anyone's approval because they know that authority is not asked for. It is imposed with facts, with character, with a presence that cannot be ignored. When you enter a place, the difference between being ordinary and being unforgettable is this: are you acting in a way that others expect, or are you acting from your own conviction? Whoever adapts too much ends up being replaceable. Whoever remains firm in their essence becomes someone impossible to replace. Look at your life now. How many times have you changed something just to not draw attention? How many times have you kept silent when you wanted to speak? Have you followed a rule with which you did not agree? Have you lowered the tone of your presence just to not disturb? Now ask yourself, what have you gained from this? Don't seek to fit in. Be the standard. In every space where you are, in every interaction, in every action, move with the certainty that your value does not depend on external approval. Speak with conviction, walk with confidence, decide with firmness. Stop observing what others do to feel comfortable and start making others adapt to your presence. Respect is not begged, not pleaded, not bought. It is earned when you are so solid in who you are that there is no other option but to recognize you. When you act with self-control, with purpose, when you do not break under the pressure of what others think. This is the moment when you decide how you want to move in life. Do you want to be just one more? Or do you want to be the reference? Because no one remembers those who adjusted too much. No one admires those who never took a real stance. But those who imposed their own standard are the ones who left an indelible mark. You decide which side you want to be on. 6. Give fewer clues, generate more intrigue. In this world, the one who talks too much weakens. Most people cannot resist the temptation to share their plans, to reveal their intentions, to explain their thoughts at every moment. They believe that by doing so, they gain respect, that being open and transparent will make them appear trustworthy. But in reality, all they achieve is becoming predictable, and the predictable is easy to manipulate, control, and overthrow. Men who truly command in life do not go around explaining every move they make. They do not reveal what they think before they act. They do not anticipate saying what they will do in the future. They maintain mystery, intrigue, because they know that information is power. And the moment you give all your information to others, you give them power over you. Think of the most respected characters in history, the smartest strategists, the most feared leaders, the most cunning players. None of them revealed their intentions ahead of time. They did not announce their moves. They did not give unnecessary explanations. They made others study them, observe them, try to decipher what they were thinking, while they operated in silence, without anyone really knowing what their next step was. Intrigue generates respect. When people can't read you easily, they start treating you more carefully. They don't know what to expect from you. They don't know your limits. They can't anticipate what you will do. And at that moment, you have control. On the other hand, if you are an open book, if everyone knows how you think, how you react, what you will do in every situation, you become an easy target. People will know exactly how to manipulate you, how to pressure you, how to stop you before you do something important. The Stoics understood this principle perfectly. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most respected emperors of Rome, never revealed his complete thinking. He listened more than he spoke, processed more than he expressed, and when he finally said something, every word had weight. His silence was an impenetrable barrier, a shield that protected him from being manipulated by others. People who are always talking, explaining, justifying, wasting time in unnecessary discussions, do not realize that they are giving away valuable information. Every extra word you say is a clue about you, about your way of thinking, about what is important to you. And if someone pays enough attention, they will be able to use all of that against you. The real power is not in what you say, but in what you choose not to say. If you control the information you give out, you control the perception others have of you. If you speak less, but more precisely, each word will have more impact. If you maintain an air of mystery, you will make people think more about you, try to decipher you, see you with more respect. So start practicing strategic silence. Don't automatically respond every time someone asks you something personal. Don't explain every thought that goes through your head. Don't feel obligated to fill every moment of conversation with unnecessary words. Learn to let the void work in your favor. When someone asks you about your plans, respond with something vague, something that doesn't give them enough information to anticipate you. When they pressure you to react, stay calm and let uncertainty consume them. When you feel the need to justify yourself, remember that actions always speak louder than any explanation. A man who knows how to keep silent, who does not reveal too much, who does not give his mind to just anyone, will always be more respected than the one who speaks without thinking. Because the moment you give fewer clues, you start to generate more intrigue. And intrigue, well managed, is one of the most powerful weapons you can have. 7. Don't bite the bait of provocation. Most people are easy to manipulate. Just one ill-spoken word, a mockery, a gesture of contempt, and they react as if someone had pressed a button in their head. They lose control, explode, shout, insult, despair. And while they crumble, the person who provoked them stands there, smiling, because they have won. If someone can make you lose your temper with a simple comment, they have you in the palm of their hand. It's that simple. Look at how things work in real life. When someone wants to belittle you, they do it by seeking your reaction. They want you to bite the bait, to get angry, to defend yourself, to try to prove something to them. But the moment you fall into that game, you stoop to their level. You lose control and become exactly what the other person wanted you to be. The Stoics understood that emotional reaction is the greatest weakness of any person. Epictetus said that it is not things that affect us, but our interpretation of them. In other words, it's not the provocation that bothers you, it's your decision to take it personally that hurts you. If someone insults you and you get angry, what do you achieve? Nothing. You only make it clear that they have power over you. On the other hand, if you ignore the provocation, if you don't even dignify their words with a response, if you maintain absolute calm, you take all the strength away from the attack. Think of it this way. Who has more power in an argument? The one who despairs and starts shouting like a spoiled child, or the one who stands firm, unfazed, watching with a slight smile as the other loses control? The answer is obvious. True mastery is exercised without effort. True superiority is not having to prove anything to anyone. The most powerful men in history knew this. Napoleon, for example, never responded to the first verbal attack. He let the other person speak, try to provoke him, while he analyzed, waiting for the perfect moment to strike back with surgical precision. Sometimes he didn't even do it, because he understood that a man who does not respond to provocations has more power than one who does. And here is where you have to learn something crucial. The world is full of provocateurs, people who will try to make you react just to feel better about themselves. They can be strangers, co-workers, even close people. Don't give them that pleasure. Don't play their game. When someone tries to take you off your center, look at them calmly, listen, but show no reaction. Keep control. Make them feel like they're talking to an impenetrable wall. Nothing disarms a provocateur more than total indifference. And if you have to respond, do it with intelligence, not with emotions. Don't get defensive. Don't enter their energy. Answer with a short, direct phrase, and let the silence do the rest. Is that all? I'm not interested in arguing, or simply a long, cold look can do more damage than 1,000 words. Because while the other person expects you to react like a cornered animal, you make it clear that they are wasting their time. Being unshakable is not just a show of strength, it's a strategy. If you want respect, you have to show that nothing and no one can take you off your center. Don't bite the bait of provocation, because when you stop reacting, that's when you really start to dominate.
Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you watched the whole thing, comment "I am Stoic" as our secret signal to know that you're a true student of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, and remember, keep cultivating your Stoic mind.